But I mean, as far as it might feel during that process, I mean, we all have the power to choose. We all have the power to like step into another life, step into another life, or step into another us. Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond Movies. My name is Jesus Hollywood Hernandez. I am a professional filmmaker, a cinephile, and I just love to talk about movies. And next to me, I have.
Jose Rivas, I'm just a fan of the art of cinema. It's fantastic. And as we're talking about movies, philosophies, and all that stuff. And today, you might figure it out by the middle poster and the way Mr. Hollywood with 1L is here dressed up as. We're talking about one of the biggest movies of the last 10 years. I don't know if you agree with me, but we're talking about Barbie.
Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Yes, correct. So if you didn't see the thumbnail or if you misheard my friend Joe, we're talking about Barbie, but we are actually talking about Barbie in another way that hasn't actually been talked about as far as I've known.
Yeah, because most of the people just focus on the
The
feminism,
Yeah.
or even the attack on men,
Yes.
which is ridiculous. Like the movie has more
Oh yeah, definitely.
more
It's-
layers than
Yes. It's, you see, it's like an ogre.
Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it. We both have layers.
that. You know what? We should just jump into it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the existentialism part of the movie? What's your outtake?
Honestly, the arc when it comes to the existentialism about how Barbie and Ken and even America's Ferrera's character travel throughout the arc of the movie, it's actually something composed quite beautifully, in my opinion.
I actually agree with you because the main focus in this movie, it's not, oh, we're feminist, oh, we're this. No, it's more the fact that we as human beings, or as, if you want to call it, characters of our own story, we go through existential crises. We have
Oh yeah,
we always
definitely.
have this idea of what are we doing in this world? What are we made for? We as humans need to find who are we, what we do exist. And I would say one of the first ways that we do that is through philosophy. And as my friend Jesus here is, he actually studied more on that, going back to the roots. Not, of course, like the Big Bang, no, just
Yeah.
the existence of the man as a thinking being.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you have heard, if you have had any philosophy classes or if you've seen any type of Greek movies, Aristotle, he was a mind-blowing philosopher, and he actually
even
touches,
so, like just popular culture.
oh
like,
yeah, and he touches upon one of the branches that technically, in a way, was a force that gave birth to philosophers to create existentialism, which is the idea that we as humans already come with an essence. There is an essence and then there is a destiny, meaning that we are predetermined, just like how the Barbies in Barbie Land and the Kens in Barbie Land as well already come with a predetermined set of abilities, personality, even purposes. Like there's Barbie president. What's her purpose? Being a president.
Barbie scientist,
But-
Barbie mechanic, like
Barbie doctor, yeah.
all of them have their path being drawn from the moment they exist towards what they're gonna do to the end of time. Because Barbie doesn't die; it's an idea that continues.
Yes.
So-
And that very much falls along with this idea of there's a predetermined, there's already something set for you to follow.
Which it was something that we as humans believed for thousands of years, even after the creation of different things from
Religion.
religion. Another big one would be the fact that we did a lot of creations like discoveries. Sorry for myself. Like Galileo Galilei finding out that we're not the center of the universe. We always thought, oh, it's all predetermined. We just need to follow it, and we're gonna end up here. That's how things work. But then life gets complicated. And
Oh,
that's
yes.
what the movie. That's the premise. That's the most important part of the movie.
Yes, because life gets complicated for Barbie.
So basically, just to summarize this part, is Barbie is the representation or the idea of someone in the real life. So the person that is in the real world has this connection with the Barbie they play with, and it becomes apparent in the Barbie on the Barbie land. So, for instance, a stereotypical Barbie, which is Margot Robbie, is connected to the Barbie that America Ferrera plays with in the real world.
And they get attached so much that America's Ferrera's character, essentially, when she starts having these doubts, this fear, these thoughts of death, and
These
of
doubts of
depression,
herself.
and of herself, they'll start affecting Barbie in Barbie Land, and it starts showing up in the physical aspect of it, from her heels falling off and having
Or just having a bad day compared to in the beginning, she has this perfect
these
day.
perfect days. Oh yes,
Like,
it's a perfect day today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and
Everywhere.
it was yesterday. Yes,
can we think about that?
and then yes, exactly, and it's just this connection. It starts disrupting Margot Robbie's Barbie in Barbie Land, and when she starts looking at what's happening, I just like the idea of you have to look for something that's out there.
Which comes from one of the best characters, Weird Barbie.
Make them weird by playing too hard.
It's cool.
And this is what essentially embarks Barbie and Ken upon their journey. Because,
Even though Ken was not supposed to go, he
Yes.
still wants to go.
and
because-
my props for Ryan Gosling, honestly.
So props for most of the
Oh
most
yes,
of the people
most
there.
of the crew.
But so I would say that the fact is that Ken needed to be there because that's what he thought was his essence, just being part of Barbie, being part of Barbie, but being next to Barbie as an accessory to her, which honestly results in Jesus's favorite part of the movie.
Oh yes, definitely. Ken is definitely one of my favorite parts of the whole movie and the whole script and just the whole dialogue and how it was
Next to
constructed.
Alan.
Next to Alan. And it's just incredible how Barbie and Ken's, in a way, they go for the same like goal. Essentially, is finding themselves, but they go about it in different ways because they're
Totally
in different places at the beginning of the movie.
But then when they get to the real world, you have two roads that come from this. From Barbie that's stressed to come back to the status quo of how she is, to Kim finding new things that exist in the real world.
That he actually likes.
Yeah, because
in a sense.
because in Barbie Land, Kens are just something that they don't even have a house.
And mostly this Ken, because we don't get to see a lot of the other Kens. Maybe they have it better off with their other Barbies, but
Oh yeah, there's one that remember in the end.
spoiler
they end up
alert,
together.
if you don't know
Oh, yeah,
about this,
spoiler
there's
alert.
gonna be spoilers here.
Spoiler alert!
But Margot Robbie's Barbie is not in love with Ken. And
Sadly, just
not
I'll be in love with Ken.
and she's not looking for anything romantic. He's a good friend, and that's all it is. But Ken is, his whole purpose is being there for Barbie, being the boyfriend. I mean, it literally, one of the things that gets really remarked in the beginning of the movie is that line with the narrator says, Ken only has a good day if Barbie notices him. And that's all Ryan Gosling's Ken is living for. He just wants to be able to be loved
His
by
character,
Barbie.
his character is just Beach Ken, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because they don't explain like all the Kens. The Barbies get explanations. Kens don't. They're just Kens.
And Alan.
But I mean, essentially, yes, like everyone is already predetermined. And the moment that Barbie and Ken go into the real world is when things get real.
Just got real.
not just for them, but also for, I believe, for us as the viewers.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they literally follow a path that I know for myself. I assume that also for you.
Oh, you know it, dude.
If you are past already 20, I'm sure you have gone through some.
Yeah, I
type
would
of
say even
existential
15, like
crisis.
even teenagers. Would
Oh
say
yeah,
this.
definitely. But if you're past 20, you definitely are part of a group. And Barbie and Ken go through this existential crisis, and you can see it more with Barbie because
I would say no. You don't see it. It's just you see the different ways you can get it in a more positive way, Ken. To a more, you know what? I'm not gonna call it negative. In a more
well, I wouldn't
downside.
call neither of them positive nor negative.
Yeah, I actually agree with that.
Because I mean, Barbie is kind of forced against the whole shock of reality, like how she saw all her life.
Like how many problems she had, like how
Yeah.
many struggles to become that again. And in the really powerful moment, she just drops one tear. By the way, props to Margot Robbie. She's fantastic. But that moment, she actually feels better by the fact that she just let all her emotions in that one single tear made it feel better. So it tells you it's okay to show you these emotions. Not just as a girl, not as a Barbie, not as a woman, as a human being. And then you have
Oh, yeah.
Ken.
Don't look at me!
And Ken goes through this a whole different journey when he, from being the guy that almost never gets noticed, never getting the girl, never really getting respected or knowing what to do, to, you know, in a sense, be respected.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible how much, I mean, it's also kind of sad how low his self-esteem was. The fact that he even says in Barbie Land, I was asked for the time.
Like,
And that's
they
the
show
thing that
me
actually brings him
respect.
up.
Like just that little moment, just hey, what time is it? That's all it took for Ken to feel respected. Like
And
show
seen
that.
in a way. Because
Like-
what like essentially, I mean, the narrator says it. All he wants to be is seen by Barbie. So essentially, he's just wants to be seen by people. Other
That's-
outside of the rest of the Kens who, in a way, are living, like Barbie says it at the end, under their shadow. And I think it's just incredible. And this actually is the thing that guides us into the other side of existentialism, or the theory of, which actually by default is actually existentialism. But the one we're touching mostly upon, at least for this aspect of the movie, is Jean-Paul Sartre.
Sartre for the French speakers.
Yes. Who actually was able to grasp the idea of existentialism that was already created and made it in a way different by saying, hey guys, I actually think we as humans have free will.
What?
And that was actually a scary thought at the beginning of when he first introduced it, because as humans, we always have thought that we only have one purpose. And that purpose usually is given to us either by our beliefs, either by our parents, either by our status quo,
What are surroundings?
or by our surroundings. And here comes a man and says, hey, guess what? All those things
Well,
that you
not
believed are
just a man,
actually not true. I mean, you have power in yourself. You can choose your own. I mean, he essentially says it like the consequences will come, but you have free will of how to act. And essentially, your own life purpose, you can choose it. I think just the conclusion of Ed at the third arc is actually what helps us be able to see both of these theories play a hand.
And actually, there's another theory that comes in place, which is the John Locke's theory of how,
changing.
of the change is what makes you better with your existentialism. You go through and you get better by that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Essentially, mostly because of his theory of that technically we are all white slates, and even
Blank
if you're
slates.
blank slates, and even if you're not a blank slate like the Barbies, you still have the chance to like input more information or change your own information and be something different, be something that you want to be. And that I think it's just amazing how it comes to like that conclusion by the third arc, and how we get to it after a lot of running from CEOs to running back to Barbie Land and a lot of
And then on Barbie
patriarchy
Land,
and horses.
because in Barbie Land, after Ken finds out all about patriarchy, he tries to make Barbie Land into Kingdom Land, which is a place similar to the real world where men are the ones in control.
And horses.
And horses. And bras. And brewski beers.
Yes.
And Mojo Dojo Casa houses.
And small fridges.
And small fridges.
Correct.
But he came to a realization, right?
Oh yeah, he definitely comes to a realization, and I think actually Ken's realization, we see it even from
Beach Ken, by the way, just.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling's Ken.
Ryan Gosling's Ken.
Because we need to keep track of these Kens. But I just think it's beautiful, his realization. Mostly we see his journey because in a way Ken, all he knew was how to be whoever he was told to be.
Which is Barbie's exercise, basically.
Because he was always Ken, Barbie's Ken, Beach Ken, because Mattel said that way. And in the real world, he saw men technically are the patriarchy, like the rulers, and they even say like, oh, we're still doing patriarchy, we just do it more subtle. And then he's essentially told this is the way us men should behave in here.
But that doesn't even feel himself.
Yeah.
Like he's not fulfilled.
And he's
with
not
that.
fulfilled, but since he sees this is how they're happy, this is
the way.
what they're telling me, I guess this is the way. I'll take it to Barbie Land because I actually feel a rush of
Is Ken a Mandalorian?
joy. Huh?
Is Ken a Mandalorian?
I don't think so.
Oh, this is not the way.
No,
It's complicated.
But
that is not the way. But towards the end, they do go the way.
But that and like that scene where he talks about like all his feelings with Barbie, like the powerful line that he comes up with. And first of all, Barbie apologizes. Then she explains that it's not Barbie and Ken. It's Barbie and it's Ken, two different entities with their own decision making. They can be whatever they want to be, and that's when Barbie comes to her own realization that she doesn't fit being Barbie, only Barbie anymore. She doesn't want to be just this small idea. She wants to be more. She wants to be the creator of ideas. The fact that in the end, Barbie has this talk and all these feelings, talking with Ruth about how life is, how she can make a decision, and she decides. And I want to ask you, do you think as explaining the ship of Theseus theory or paradox or however you want to call it, do you call her Barbie still, or is she something else, or is she just still Barbie with a different Barbie? What do you think?
So for those that didn't understand, just in case you didn't see the movie, which I highly suggested, even
Please
you
go to
don't-
the freaking movie theater.
Yeah. So the end concludes with Barbie choosing no longer to be a doll, and she chooses to be a human. And when she
With a beautiful scene.
yeah, when she becomes a human, essentially, they ask her name, and she chooses to say Barbara Handler, which was the name of the
Ruth Handler's daughter. The one that they named Barbie after.
Yes. Essentially, this is the question: like, is it still
Is
Barbie?
Is stereotypical Barbie still Barbie, or what is she?
I don't know if I know you love this, so I don't know if you would like to explain Theseus.
So, the Theseus was a Greek hero, supposedly a son of Zeus, that he did a lot of adventures. He had a ship with people. Then, when he retired, he went to Athens and lived a ship to be displayed. But then, when the first piece of wood started to rot, they changed it, and they changed it to a steel. And then they keep changing until there was no more wood
of the
pieces.
original wood pieces.
But then a lot of philosophers were like, well, is it still the ship of Theseus? If your answers are yes, well, good for you. If your answers are no, when did it stop? When the first piece was changed, when the last piece was changed, when there was halfway through it, and then they did one more, that's when they stopped. There's a lot of different ways to think about this. For me, for instance, I would say it's still the same ship because it holds the same values, it holds the same things. regardless if it's not the same physically, it still has the same aura, the same feeling that it existed, the same myth that it was created on.
And it goes just like that, like with what we said. And even when it comes to the physical sense, I mean, we're not the same as the people that we were when we were younger, when we were kids.
Even biologically speaking, we have changed every single cell besides
Yes.
our neurons from the day we were born to the point that we're at now.
And they keep changing as
And
the
they
years
will.
go through. And that's actually one of the beautiful parts about this existentialism subject when it comes to this movie.
Which
It's
should be
being able to
touched-
find your identity.
which should be more research or more talked about, because the movie just is so deep layered about this specific subject that you can learn, regardless if you're a man, a woman, however you want to call yourself, the person who you are. This movie has so deep, meaningful messages to help you grow and accept who you are, to get better as a person who you are, and stop pretending something you're not.
And that's actually where we get with the conclusion, where all of these theories that we have talked about actually come to dance between all of themselves and actually work together. Because, well, when it comes to Ken, like we talked, Kingdom is taken away from him.
Kingdom Land.
He no longer, well, Kingdom Land, thank you for that.
Great name.
Barbie, well, he already knows that Barbie is not gonna be her girlfriend or her long distance romantic interest from a long time. I honestly don't remember the whole thing.
No, it was like
But
it was messy.
But essentially, all the things that he thought of himself are no longer there. And I think it's beautiful when he starts talking to Barbie, like you said, and she apologizes and she tells him
I'm
essentially
sorry, took you
like,
for granted.
yes, but she tells him like this part when he's like, but it's never Ken, it's Barbie and Ken. There isn't just Ken. Like I don't know what I am if I'm not Barbie and Ken.
How many times have we lived in that
Oh, yeah.
situation?
And it's beautiful what Margot Robbie's Barbie says, that essentially she says, you are not your girlfriend. You are not your clothes.
You're not your
You are
beach.
not even bitch. And she essentially says, maybe all the things that you thought made you you aren't really what makes you you. You have to find who Ken is. And that's when it comes to the phrase that I love of Ken is me. Because essentially Ryan Gosling's Ken comes to a realization that I am who I am, and that's okay. I don't have to fall onto these ideas that we as humans sometimes try to create lives in such a complex way. Many of us believing that we are the job, the career, the profession that we chose, the hobbies that we
The
chose,
people we're around, the
the-
family
yeah,
we belong to.
the person we are dating, or even the beliefs and values that we think. Maybe you think that, oh, I used to believe this X idea, but now I see that that's wrong.
X
I no
is
longer
Xavier?
know. Yeah. And Barbie essentially helps Ken realize it's okay. You are you. You have
Even
to
though she
accept
hasn't
yourself.
realized what she wanted to do herself yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because she does that with Ken, and then she does that transition to I want to
Yes.
be a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Which is honestly kind of impressive.
Oh, yeah. And that's when, essentially, like you said, after helping Ken realize that it's okay to be Ken, Ken is Ken,
Ken, it's me.
she then realizes that she no longer wants to be Barbie.
Yeah.
Because she no longer feels like Barbie, like she says.
Yeah, which is a really great way to portray all of this existentialism. To answer this question, what are we made for?
What was I made for?
I don't know. This movie just talks about really beautiful and important things. The fact that Barbie decides that she wants to be more than just an idea, to become a creator of ideas, not just a doll anymore, but a woman. that's powerful because she decides I'm no longer just this. I want more in my life, and she actually looks for it. And the fact that in the end she goes to the gynecologist because that's something that women have to do as a precaution, as just to make sure they're fine. It's incredible the fact that she wants more, wants better life.
And I think, like you said, that ending of she going to the gynecologist, and she actually, like the way it's played out, it's like as if she was gonna go do something mind blowing, like just life changing. And essentially, that is true for her. And she decides, just like how Jean Paul Sartre says, that we as humans have that free will to give the meaning and the value to whatever the things we want in order to find meaning to life. Barbie does, and she's like, you know, going to the gynecologist might be a mundane task for humans, but for me, this is life.
The value that you give to these actions, that's what matters. Regardless of what anyone has to say, what you want to do with that moment is what matters. And for me, it will be a shout out for my son, Franco. If you're going to see it, I love you. He gives, just watching a toy microscope, or playing with his SpongeBob toys, or going to the pool, for him that is enormous. It has so much meaning. That's how it should be. Like, whatever we do, give it the meaning of importance it deserves. And what do you think?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And that's essentially what Barbie does at the end. And I think it's actually quite beautiful the way that she becomes a human. I mean, honestly, if there is anything to be taken away from this movie, I think the way that she gets to this decision, this life-changing action, is just quite beautiful, because it is this scene where Ruth and Barbie are just in this vast abysm where there's literally nothing. It's just blank, and they're essentially talking like, "Hey, are you sure you want to make this step? Like, are you sure you want to be human?" And essentially, Barbie says, "I mean, yeah, that's what I want to be. Like, can I?" And I love the phrase that Ruth says, like, "Of course, like, you don't need my permission. I have as much power over you as I have from my daughter." And Barbie essentially says, "Wait, so you mean that being a human is just something that I can just think and be?" And I think that is something, I think that's just a beautiful way of ending it, because essentially it is true for all of us. I mean, as hard as it feels also during the moment of actual existential crisis that we go through, but I mean, as hard as it might feel during that process, I mean, we all have the power to choose. We all have the power to, like, step into another light, step into another life, or step into another us. And that's I think that's the beauty about this movie, and that's the beauty about how it touches upon existentialism, is that sure, there's a bunch of theories, and sure, all of those theories have a truth in us, but essentially at the end of the day, we as humans, you as your own storyteller, have the power to say, what's my purpose, what's my identity, what is the meaning of my life.
And I would say, guys, that's why we love movies. That's one of the biggest parts of our love for movies, the message they can give us. This one has a lot of messages. We just talk of one of those. I would say in my opinion, and I don't know about you, one of the biggest and most important part of this movie is that one. The one that I take home myself is that. And I don't know, I think this is a good spot just to and for today, because we still have a lot more to talk about Barbie.
Oh yeah.
And then we have Oppenheimer, and then don't pay attention to Flash, pay attention to the one on top of it. This one.
Oh yes, we have definitely way more ideas coming up and more videos.
TikTok, follow us on TikTok.
Oh yes, definitely. Also on TikTok.
Instagram too, but TikTok, he's gonna do a lot of crazy stuff.
Oh yes.
You're doing this one.
But definitely keep up to date because we definitely have way more ideas coming up your way.
And we need your support to continue doing those ideas.
Yes. So if you like what we're doing here, like, subscribe, share it, ring the bell. I don't know what other actions are there.
What the bell? Oh yeah, you can ring a bell on YouTube.
So you get our notifications whenever there's a new video.
The only channel I have get the bell for is this one. Trust me, it's worth it.
Well, my name is Jesus,
I was there.
and this was Beyond Movies. I'll see you guys later.
Take care, guys.